All right. Good morning. Good morning. This is Kathy Dellamia with Quality Coach Kathy, Friday group coaching, where we go through tapping into wealth processes with other tapping into wealth coaches, as well as some clients and people who are interested in the power of emotional freedom technique, developing from within, and spending some quality time growing as people. So I'm here with Wendy Fisher and Vicki today, and we're going to be talking about the disciplines that can change your vibe around money, how you can in yourself become a better receiver, a better emanator of wealth, wherever, and starting right now, wherever you are. So let's get to know who's here a little bit. Wendy, how are you today?
I am doing great today. I may have some noise in the background. We're having some work done on the house, but just ignore it. It shows up. So I'm doing great. I am also a tapping into wealth coach, and I'm really starting to branch out and work with people with migraines, people who are feeling not only the chronic pain, but the losses financially and socially because of the pain that migraines just create. You can really lose your social contacts, whether it's family or friends, and losing days at work, losing your energy, your brilliance, and all that is really hard. And it's amazing how these tapping into wealth processes have helped me with 35 years of migraines. And now I'm finding that I'm seeing the emotional pathways that lead me to the pain, and I'm having tools to stop them in their tracks. Not every time, but I'm getting there, so I have many fewer. So it's something that I really would like to bring to the world, because so many people struggle with chronic migraine. So it's kind of on my heart today, and it's amazing work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so happy to be here today.
Yay. All right, Vicki, let's get to know you a little bit.
My name is Vicki Dowell from teamdow.com, and my husband and I help strengthen marriages affected by past trauma. So husbands and wives that are struggling with frustration, confusion, and isolation, we help them gain clarity and understanding and reconnect and bond with each other. So we're pretty excited about that mission, and we oftentimes work with the wives first because kind of the tendency of just the nature of women and men. We usually, the wife is the first one we work with, and we kind of take them through a process of assessing the lingering damage and just see where the effects of past trauma are kind of showing up, maybe where they don't even realize that might be the reason that it's showing up, and kind of do this real comprehensive assessment and then guide them to the different areas that is appropriate for what's going on with each couple or each wife, person, or husband. So, yeah.
Awesome.
And I'm awesomely excited to be here.
Yay!
Glad you're here. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So needed in this world.
Yep, unfortunately.
Unfortunately is right, but it is needed.
Yep.
But in the healing process, we move more actively towards the world we want.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. We in the tapping into wealth culture, or the circles around Margaret Lynch, we love the term healing forward.
Yes.
And it's not an unfamiliar concept, but it's very real that when we do the work to clear the neurological charge around the past, we literally improve our future, because we can interact more freely, we're more resourced, and then our tomorrows are more joyous and fulfilling. And that's what we really want, is that confidence, that peacefulness, and we want to embody it. We want to feel it, not just think it.
Right. Can I share a recent massive transformation that I had?
Absolutely.
Clearing through Margaret's processes. And I was working with Fiona too, but I was sick for like 2 weeks and never been sick that much before in my whole life. I was doing everything I could to stop, tapping and oils and resting and all this stuff. And it was horrible. Every time I swallowed, I felt like I had broken glass in my throat. And then I would like start coughing, and it was just this whole mess and just pain and awful. And I had a session with Fiona and using like some of Margaret's processes and her processes. And I said, I said, why is it lasting this long? And she said, Vicki, think about the power that is in your system that is having you stay sick for so long, even though I was doing tapping and mental processes, emotional processes. And immediately I had this vision of my power. And when I was 5.5, I shared with someone about the abuse that had just happened to me. And I was told that I was a bad girl. Don't you ever say anything like that ever again. Mm-hmm. And I felt like there was a part of me that rose up and said, you just took her power away. I'm going to show you how powerful she really is. And I had this vision of this black cloak. So my whole life, I've had this big black cloak of power, right? So Fiona and I did some tapping, and all of a sudden, I saw the black cloak turn into a velvet cape, and I saw myself in a forest with a machete, hacking a path, making a way for other sexual abuse survivors and other couples to blaze a trail.
Wow.
It was like, wow. Talk about
That's
feeling
awesome.
your power. I just was like, holy cow, to take that same, black cloak and use it as a velvet cape instead as, oh man, it was.
Wow. The visualization is real palpable, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And from somebody who hasn't felt a whole lot in my whole life,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I felt like my heart had this crusty scabs on it. And as our session progressed, and I literally had my hands on my heart, I could feel these cracks and like this yellow light beaming through, and the scabs were like softening and just kind of falling off. And my heart was like growing. It was really awesome.
That's a really beautiful share. And I just want to shout out to Fiona Orr.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Fiona Orr, a little plug. We love our Tapping Into Wealth community. The cultures of flow coaching, or the utilization of coach, is so powerful. And there are very likely people who hear your story and feel so far away from it. I know that I have experienced, I'm just stuck in the crusty heart part. I'm just stuck in the, and I can't even access the visual. But we are here to promise people, to promise each other, to promise ourselves there is a breakthrough, there is progress, there is celebration.
Absolutely.
There is relief. And that's what the power of having a trained coach provides. Is that lighthouse, that beacon, that belief that you can lean into and say, I don't see it, but I believe you do for me now.
Yeah.
And that's why you're an amazing coach, Vicki, is because you've done that work. And now you are in the trailblazing position that's like, trust me, there is a bottom to it.
One of the things people tell me is they feel my compassionate heart during the sessions. And that's just like, wow.
I've experienced that.
And I know, Wendy, you've had similar breakthrough experiences. I know we all have.
Yeah.
I have had moments of surprise where the relief washes over, never to be absent again, where the memory becomes so referable. It's as strong as the memory of the problem in the first place, if not stronger, and you feel it.
Right. So I recently had an experience similar to yours, Vicki, but we've been watching, it's calmed down now, but the Hawaiian volcano. when that started up in May, and my husband and I got on YouTube and started watching. And one day I just was watching they have videos of the lava just coming and covering the land, covering the houses, covering the roads. And I felt like that's what had happened to my heart. So when I was abused, when I was really little, that's what happened to my heart. And so that lava takes, I don't know, hundreds of years before they can build and grow things on that again. And I thought, thank God I have a human heart that it doesn't take hundreds of years to heal, that I can use these processes. And so in some of the work that I did recently, I feel like I got to like one of these core woundings, like the core wounding in my life, and broke the emotional connection to it. So I can look at that thing that happened to me when I was an infant, and now it's not filled with horror and terror and fear and rage, and it's okay, that happened. And I remember it, and I know what happened, and I can move forward. I don't have to take, so healing the past, right? I don't have to take that into the future now. And that's the power of this work.
And
that's the power. It's amazing.
So, yes.
And you're talking about money today. Money's a metaphor for all of everything that's been going on. So even if people might be listening and saying, well, you guys are talking about personal transformation work, what about these 5 disciplines? If your money is flowing, that's a good sign that the other things are working. And if the money isn't, that's a good sign of what you need to look at then in other areas.
Absolutely. So that money being a metaphor for our personal power, for our safety in life.
Sure.
It's absolutely true. And so as I free up and I'm not in those, I'm starting to see money flowing more freely. And it's awesome. And we're all have these stuck spots. Yeah. And so the disciplines I'm going to talk about, they're awesome, but they're things that we can be conscious of, especially if we've gone through the processes. If not, you can still work on these. And I encourage you to contact one of us if you want more information. You're just running into this material the first time as you're here, but let's get going on them. Let's start. So there are 5 disciplines that Margaret Lynch talks about for raising our vibration about money. And as we've seen, like if you've been with us as we've gone through all these processes, we have delved into the past. We have looked at our patterns, our negative, the emotions, the habitual thought processes. We've looked and tapped on these things because tapping is a way to actually release the emotional bond to our woundings. And so we've been shining the light of consciousness on these patterns and using tapping to clear them. What do I want to say? Freedom really comes from clarity. Clarity and insight to see these patterns and to clear them. So we can make new choices as we lift these patterns, right? We can start having more power and start moving forward in different choices. So the first one is committing to consciously be aware of our old habits and patterns. That's the first thing. So it took me a while to start seeing my habits, old habits and patterns that were holding me stuck. But as we see them and we commit to consciously being aware of them, we can start bringing our vibration up even more. So we want to catch ourselves. In our day-to-day lives, we want to wait a minute, something's going on here. We want to catch ourselves and then be able to let them go and adopt new and healthy patterns. So there is the clarity we've gotten through these processes that can help us do this. We want to challenge those old patterns, right? We want to challenge them and say, wait a minute, I don't need this pattern. It served me for a period of time, maybe for my whole life, to protect me and keep me safe, right? So that whatever happened in the past, maybe I needed protection for that period of time. It doesn't serve me anymore. So now I want to have the clarity to see it and to let it go, to challenge it. This is the fastest way to break through into new tendencies, okay, is to challenge these old ones. So the second piece I want to talk about is being committed to be engaged. So every day to show up into our activities and be engaged. And and if you show up and you're not all in, what can you do to get there? What do you need? Maybe you need some fresh air or some exercise. Maybe you need a nap. Maybe you need to sleep. Maybe you need to jump up and down and shout and say, I can do this. Whatever it is, what do you need to be engaged in what you're doing today? So this is a real physical way to raise the vibe. You know, it's just recognizing, I think in the 12-step program, they talk about those needs and what is it. And I can't remember the term, but they have this whole little process that you go through. Do I need food? Do I need sleep? Do I need what? Do I need whatever? And so that's really valuable. So, and having this higher vibe is going to bring the resources we need: partners, people, ingenuity, clients, our genius, right? So as we walk in this higher vibe, as we're fully engaged, we get charged up even more. And so we can walk. So this is the second one. Number 3, the third thing I want you to do is commit to taking action. So 1, recognize the patterns and allow yourself to catch yourself in them and challenge them, and then commit to being engaged. But I also want you to commit to taking action. So for me, sometimes the first step is the hardest step, right? I need to know what my first step is, and I need to go and take that first step. And so what do you need to do that? Do you need to put it in your calendar? I'm going to start this new, I have this goal to bring this work to people with migraines, chronic migraines. What's my first step that I need to do from where I'm at right now? I'm going to go pencil that in my calendar. All right. It can feel overwhelming, and it can feel like there's so much that I need to do to accomplish this, but all we need is that first step. The next step, the one next thing is what we need. And sometimes that just starts the ball rolling. Part of this is allowing accountability into our lives. So whether you have an accountability partner, you join a mastermind, whatever way that you can allow yourself to be accountable is going to help you commit to taking action, right? So what is my next step? What do I need to do? How can I do it? When am I going to do it? Planning this out is really powerful. So, and you're likely to let go of your old patterns easier if you allow this type of accountability into your life. And it's gonna actually change your financial outlook, because having those resources and that willingness is just an amazing thing. So is going to seem a little counterintuitive. So I want you to look at your goals, look at the things that you have planned, and I want you to give yourself permission to not have them, to not do it at all. I want to help couples who've been affected by abuse, past abuse. I want you to just give yourself permission to not even have that goal anymore. And that seems really counterintuitive, but it's really powerful. Giving ourselves permission to walk away, keep our life exactly the way it is, our money, our relationships, our everything. Just I can keep my life exactly the way it is. I don't have to change. I don't have to reach for my new goals. Why would I say this, right? We're all here to move forward, right? But truthfully, you don't have to work on your goals. And sometimes when things feel like have-tos, we can get a little rebellious. Like, I don't want to submit to my boss. I don't want to have to, I don't want to have to do this or do that. I want to have choices. Having choices is really powerful in this life, right? And we always have options. We always, always, always have options. It's something I learned in a 12-step program, that there's always options. And feeling like we are giving ourselves options is really powerful. Staying put and doing what we've been doing can feel really good. It can really feel really safe. And that's always an option. Maybe I need to let go of my goals, my big goals, for a period of time. That's okay. So this is something we actually should be doing daily. Looking at our goals, looking at what we want to accomplish, and giving ourselves permission to not do it. I have permission to not seek after my goals. And it's powerful. It gives me a choice. I don't have to put myself in a situation where I start feeling that resistance, that rebellion come up inside, because I have options. Human nature, right? I want to have options. So I want you to have full permission every day to make choices. Okay? Every single day. So, but one downside of this, of living in this type of consciousness, is that we have to give up complaining. So if we're choosing to go after our goals, if we're choosing to make this our lifestyle, we're choosing the work, we're choosing the self-discipline, the sacrifices, and we're choosing to take full responsibility for ourselves and for what we're doing. And it means that we can't complain anymore. So Margaret, I'm going to quote what Margaret said. So she says, the more you make conscious choices and take radical responsibility, the more you will see that complaining is only the luxury of the disempowered. So, of course, there's going to be hard work. There may be disappointments, right? But through this work, we've learned how to handle them, right? We're learning how we can take charge. We can take that emotional connection to our old hurts and break it. And so the difference is that we know what we're getting into. We're more conscious, right? We can take the steps we need. We can reach out for the help we need instead of just feeling stuck. It's like, I can't do anything. I'm stuck, right? We're talking about the stuck. So honor this. Honor yourself. I have choices. I can choose to stay where I'm at. There's nothing stopping me from staying here. I can choose to reach for my goals, right? But I have this consciousness now. I didn't have this before. When I was really stuck in chronic migraines, stuck in all the yuck of the past abuse that I didn't feel like I had choices. I was so stuck. But now we know through gaining consciousness that we don't have to be stuck, right? We have tools. So let's use that consciousness, honor it, and make choices. Make that choice every day to do what I need to do to be engaged, do what I need to do to make these choices to not be in my old patterns. And how badly do you want your goal? How badly do you want it? You know, is it something you're being called to do? Is it your mission in life? That's a whole other point of clarity, right? But this is a new level of self-discipline and energy and desire for your goal that you can cultivate daily. And it's a much different energy than say, I have this goal and I'm all excited and in the moment, yay! And then a couple of days later, I don't know if I really want to do that, right? So that's just kind of this momentary thing. And this is a much different thing. This is a lifelong goal usually that we're talking about, or a piece of our lifelong goal that we're talking about, right? So How bad do I want it? What's my choice today? Am I going to walk in the freedom to choose, or am I going to walk in this stuckness, this rebellion? So this is our new vibe. This is how we can really increase our vibe around what we want, reaching these goals. Let's see. So this is going to give us that consistency and enthusiasm, right? So this for me is amazing stuff, because I've never thought about all these different steps I can take. I can give myself choices and freedom every single day. So the last step that I want to talk about is I want you to trust and to shine both your light and your dark. So we all have light in us, and we all have pieces of darkness in us, right? We're going to have moments of fear, maybe anger, maybe loss of faith in ourselves or God or the universe or other people, right? So we're going to have moments of those. But we can evolve. You evolve your greatness through your humanity, not through being God, or I don't know. But we evolve through our humanity. So we can't deny the negative parts, because that's part of our humanity, right? We're always going to have fear and courage. Inside us will always be greed and generosity, laziness and achievement, right? Stupidity and brilliance. It's all within us. It's all within me. I can be really, really stupid sometimes. And yet there's this brilliance inside of me that's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. So we all have both. And you can be unstoppable, and you can be imperfect and accept all these pieces and go forward anyways. Right? Does this make sense, ladies? It's kind of like, to me, this was really like, whoa, this is kind of like a lot. So this will free us from the exhausting work of hiding these pieces of darkness, these negative things that we see in ourselves, right? This shadow that's in ourselves. When we make friends with this shadow, we stop using all that energy to hide it. And when we can shine our darkness and our light, I feel like for me, that's where I've never felt like I had a big sense of humor. I've always been a little too serious. And the people that really have a sense of humor, you often see it in their ability to see their darkness and expose it, in a good way, So it's like, yeah, I can be really stupid, I did X, Y, Z, but my brilliance shone in it too. And so admitting to ourselves, to other people, to God, all these things can only free us to be more of ourselves, more of our authentic selves. And it will help us to feel lighter, to feel more energized, to feel more able. I'm really kind of thinking that's pretty cool. So if you've set a really big goal and you've been reaching for it, maybe you've been struggling, maybe you've had moments of total ability and, brilliance, and yet you've also had those, I feel really stupid, I feel really fearful, or I don't have faith right now. It's okay. Honor all of it. Honor it all. It's all in you. It's all part of your humanity, and it's all part of you going forward into reaching your goals. So let's just to really review, we're going to commit to becoming consciously aware of our old habits and patterns. We're going to commit to showing up more fully engaged and re-energize as necessary. Do what it takes to get re-energized. Commit to taking action and doing everything you need to get that action going. That first step, remember that one thing. There's a whole book written, the one thing. Take time to renew your plans and your goals every day, and give yourself permission to not have them anymore. It's really important. And then trust and shine both your dark and your light. Because you have it in you, right? To be fearless and invincible and unstoppable, it's within you, right? I have so much faith. Can you feel it right now? It's like, we have this inside of us. I have it in me to be fearful and stuck and afraid, but I also have it in me to be invincible and fearless and courageous and focused, and to really go forward in what I want to do, because it is that choice. So you can have, I'm going to read this, you can have this huge goal. You can create a whole new wealth reality, and you still get to be flawed and perfectly you, and choose to be greater and bolder, more real, more on fire. It's called consciousness. It's consciousness of who we are as people. So if you guys have any comments, I'd love to hear, but I want to do some tapping around this too, because we're going to do this tapping from Margaret's book about consciousness. And so, yeah, any thoughts?
Well, just kind of frame it a little bit for myself and for us a bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the money as a measure, you know, the difference between like a coach and a counselor or a therapist,
Mm-hmm.
it revolves around results.
Mm-hmm.
Really, in my way of thinking, the distinction is a coach is going to be supporting specific results. You know, we're looking for a taste it, hear it, see it, you know, a reality that is shifting in results. And that's why it's so important to use money as a measure. And then from there, the real value is less tangible. It's the metaphor. But think about it. Freedom of being, what does money provide? Freedom of choices, freedom of contribution, freedom of, there's a power to it. So when we're talking about the vibe of money and just tapping into that feeling of freedom, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge, huge difference. And when people are moving along in their life, those actions, we're really trained that action is the end all be all. If it was just action, we would do what we know to do and end of story.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the consciousness that you're speaking of, that if we look over that those 5 things, only one of them is action. Okay. Most of it is on the inner work.
Yeah.
So I just, you know, if you do just one of those things, giving up complaining, if you just do one thing, embrace your wholeness and let both light and dark be there, just doing one of those 2 things makes a huge difference.
Oh, yeah. Imagine doing all 5 of them, you know.
Well, committing to take action might be a comfort zone for people. Just, I'm going to drill this. I'm going to hit it. I'm going to hit it with action. And you can make more money. You can hit your goals with that alone.
Right.
But what we have here is a more elegant, more lasting, a little more subtle approach that when you're tapped into the consciousness, the action comes more naturally.
Yeah.
And that's why it's the vibration. Because vibe can be like, what are you talking about? When it comes to money, I want to see the savings account grow. I want more money in the bank.
Right.
You know, how do I get from the vibe to more money in the bank. And it really is, stop complaining and get a little disciplined with putting money in the bank. Not easy, but it can be done.
It can. And so all of these are really good things. And I think if you take all the processes we've done and you add these 5 things onto the end of it, it kind of encapsulates it all, you know, because they can be done. These 5 things can be done totally apart from Margaret's tapping into world processes, right? They're all things that we can do. But if you combine them, the power is amazing. Like you're saying, Kathy, there's going to be a point when your self-worth is rising, which is what is equivalent to money coming up in your account. Like that ability to receive. I can receive, right? My worthiness set point is gotten higher, so my bank account actually is higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're right. It's these things are all wonderful things, and there is an elegance and a more power of combining them with this whole program. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing
so if money is the goal, this can be applied, but any goal.
Right.
If you want to raise your vibe around relationships, these things apply to raising your vibe. It's just so powerful to use the money as the measure in the metaphor, but it can be measured by time off. You know, if you want more time off and want to work less, you can apply these things to that goal as well.
You know, and I'm thinking healing from past abuse and childhood things, it also applies, you know, having that consciousness and being willing to take action. I know I've taken action for many, many years on healing myself from past abuse. And the migraines are part of that, right? So all the emotional components. And so, yeah, you can apply this, I think, to almost anything. You could probably apply this to many health ailments, you know, money and relationships, and yeah.
So,
yeah.
And tapping becomes an incredible tool for that pattern interrupt.
Yeah.
Just the choice of committing to be aware of the patterns around forward movement, progress, accomplishment of any goal. The pattern interrupt of like, oh, here I go, avoiding it. The pattern interrupt could look like I don't have to do it. I'm allowed to avoid it, right? That part of it. But the tapping can be like, I'm noticing that I'm avoiding this and I want to interrupt that pattern and I'm ready to take action.
Yeah.
And there's other ways to challenge the pattern. But the commitment to notice it is so important. Whatever the pattern is around the goal. Because we all have patterns. And there's a saying I've been exposed to a number of times: how you do one thing is how you do everything. There's a nature to our comfort zone to keep us in one spot. So if we're reaching in our money, we'll have certain patterns that are the same patterns that when we're reaching in relationship. Avoidance being one, or procrastination, different variations of procrastination. Even addiction can be a negative pattern to avoid reaching to a bigger goal. So the interrupt. Get as many tools to interrupt that pattern.
Absolutely.
Tapping is amazing for
It's
that.
amazing. So let's do some. Let's do some tapping. Yeah. So, and I'm going to be reading Margaret's script, and as always, you are welcome to put your own words in there. So yes, if you guys want to mute, just be as loud or as quiet as you want. Use your own words. I just always encourage you to just make it your own, make it real. And but I'm going to just say Margaret's word. So we're just going to go through all the points. So starting at the eyebrow point, I have this huge, outrageous goal. And I'm asking a lot of myself in this. And in the growth I've had so far. I've learned a lot about me. And I'm ready to move forward. I'm just going to honor myself right here in this moment. And where I am right now. I'm human. So at some level, I'm stuck. I'm overwhelmed. Maybe terrified. I'm chicken. Insecure. Maybe I'm delusioned. I'm angry at the world. I'm really sad. And I'm all those things because I'm human. And I'm also amazing. And I'm really smart. And I have a really big heart. And I do have really big dreams. I have a big goal for wealth. And dreams and visions about where I want to go. Some are fleeting and some are I really want. And this really big goal, I really do want it. And I totally honor that too. In this present moment, I am a mess and a miracle. I am both my old stories and my power. I am everything I have been. And I'm standing on the precipice of everything I will be. It's kind of awesome. And it's a big responsibility. Everyone else I see going through life like they're sleepwalking. But now I'm aware of all this. It's awesome. And an awesome responsibility. I have so much freedom of choice. And that can be scary. It's kind of hard to leave sleepwalking. And I honor who I am right now. With all my fears and limiting beliefs. With all my visions and dreams. With all my heart's desires. With my mission. I honor all of me. And I'm open to moving forward toward outrageous healing. Healing the past and the future. I'm open to outrageous choice, outrageous goals, and I'm going to need some support along the way. This is hard, and I'm doing it. So I'm asking for support back from the universe, from the divine. I would like more inspiration. I would like some confirmation. That would be really nice. I would love divine direction. I would love more amazing people to show up to support me. I would like gold to arise in my life. Any form that's right for me. Inspirations, ideas, coincidences, or miracles. Amazing people. I'm open to allowing in everything I need. Everything I need to show up. To support both my humanity and further my vision, to help me heal, to help me step up, to help me have courage, and to help me create everything I'm envisioning. I'm open to expecting and anticipating that help. And I'm willing to do my part. I commit to taking action like never before. To catch myself in the act of limiting myself. Sabotaging myself. Or playing small. And to bring up energy. And to remember that I really want this. And to remember that it is possible for me. Because I'm a creator. My eyes are opening wider. I'm seeing things I haven't noticed before. So much abundance and possibility. I'm seeing so much more within me. And I'm asking more from me. The courage, the brilliance, the enthusiasm, the words, and the complete vision for my outrageous goal. And I just honor who I am and where I'm at. Take a really deep breath. Wow, I can feel that going through my arms today. Yeah, it's really good again to feel what's going on in your body, because your body really mirrors what's going on in your soul. You know, I think just as we gain clarity, it's going to be in our minds, in our soul, and in our body. And that's why I'm having less migraines. Any thoughts, any comments, ladies? You've done great.
Lots of energy moving for me. I couldn't stop yawning.
I saw that.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, wow, this is awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
It's such an amazing physical way we know that we are moving energy. You know, the yawning, the tingling, just the sensation of movement in the body.
I tell my clients that if I yawn during a session, it's not because you're boring me and I want to go to sleep. It's because I feel the energy moving with us.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
that's really nice.
Awesome. Yeah. So this is recorded. You can always come back, do this tapping again. You know. It's still moving.
Yes, thank you more, please.
Yes, thank you more, please. It's interesting. My chiropractor would say that the work she does, because she's really focusing on the nervous system, she's you take this with you, and it expands to other people. It ripples out, and the tapping is the same. You know, we take the energy of that, the freedom from that, and we bring it out into the world with us, and it affects other people. So. Great job, ladies. Thank you all who've been with us on this call today. If you're listening or watching in the future, and you know, we just invite you to come back, look at our other YouTube videos, do the processes, and if you want more help, if you need some individualized help, contact any of us. We're all willing to sit down, have a conversation, and see where you're at, see if we're a good fit to work together. And the invitation is always there. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And we'll be back next Friday.
Next Friday.
Friday group coaching. It's 8 to 9 Mountain Time, which is where I'm at in Colorado. But because we have YouTube channels, it's anytime on demand. But really, thank you so much for being here week after week. And we just feel so blessed to do this kind of work and contribute it, and I feel amazing. I feel grateful and at peace.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next week.
Great.
Bye.